We will do Gita Dhyanam, then go into Gita. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatva Manusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshini Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Kullara Tandapatra Netra Enatvaya Bharata Taila Purnaha Prajvalito Jnanamaya Pradipaha Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vetraika Padaye Jnanamudraya Krishnaya Gita Mritaduhe Namaha Sarvopanishado Gavaha Dogdha Gopalanandanaha Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdam Gita Amritam Mahate Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Bhishma Drona Tata Jayadrata Jala Gandhara Nilotpala Shalyagrahavati Kripena Vahani Karnena Velakula Ashwathama Vikarna Ghora Makara Duryodhana Vartinim Sotirna Khalu Pandavai Rananadi Kaivartaka Keshavaha Parasharya Vachas Sarojamamalam Gitartha Gandhotkatam Nana Kyanaka Kesaram Harikata Sambodhana Vodhitam Loke Sajjana Shakpatairaharaha Pepiyamanam Muda Oyad Bharata Pankajam Kalimala Pradvamshina Shreyase Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkripa Tamaham Vande Paramananda Madhamam Yam Brahma Varunindra Rudra Marutah Sthunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sangapadakramho Panishadai Gayanti Yam Samaga Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantam Navidusura Suragana Devaya Tasmai Namaha. Oh. We'll do chapter 9 of the Bhagavad Gita. Om Shri Krishna Paramatmane Namaha. Atha Navamodhyayaha. So, chapter 7 and chapter 9, chapter 7, 9 and 12 are very similar. 8 is a little different. 10 talks about Ishvara's manifestation. We'll see that when it comes. 8 we have already seen. And in this section, chapter 7 and chapter 9. In fact, many teachers recommend that immediately after 7, do 9. Don't go to 8 in between. Do 9. But then the chapters in the text are available as 7, 8, 9. We'll follow the same thing. We'll follow the same methodology which my teacher followed with me. So, it is, like I said, virtually a reinforcement of what is said in chapter 9. It talks about Ishvara Swarupam and Ishvara Jnanam. Let's go back and do the fundamentals repeatedly any number of times. Because we don't study Vedanta for gaining punya. Okay? We study the Vedanta for moksha. Moksha is freedom. Freedom from what? So these things should be absolutely clear. It is not simple, but it should be clear. If the vision is clear, your understanding will be susukham, as he mentioned in one of the earlier verses. Your understanding will be easy. So your understanding will be easy, and once your understanding is easy, you will be able to relate to the knowledge. When you say you relate to the knowledge, you can make it your knowledge, and you can live your life in abidance with the knowledge. Otherwise, it remains here, purely as some kind of academic information. So depending upon your quality, speaking quality, and yeah, I'll try and increase the volume. That's volume is at its maximum. Yeah. So it's not a problem with the device. Perhaps I'll have to speak a little louder. And if I speak very loud at the end of 1 hour, I'm left a little breathless. Anyway, I'll speak a little more, a little louder. Yeah. So the fundamental. What is the fundamental problem? The problem, the fundamental problem, the solution for the fundamental, these two must be cleared. Unless it is clear, Vedanta will not work. It will remain an academic thing in some corner of our information to astound people and to talk very eloquently. But it won't make an iota of difference to any of us. It won't transform. That much we must be very clear. So let's look at almost every day. Whenever we do satsang, let us look at the fundamental problem. The fundamental problem is smallness imposed on oneself. Okay. I am small. And there is a conclusion based on that smallness. I am insignificant. And because I am insignificant and that insignificance is not acceptable to me, I try to gain significance by acknowledgement, approval, applause from external sources. So the Mundaka Upanishad says at one point, Pariksha lokan karma chitan brahmano nirvedamayat. Having analyzed all my experiences, Brahmana, the wise man, nirvedamayat, has gained an amount of vairagyam. What is that vairagyam? The vairagyam is, I am looking for something everlasting. Okay? And that something everlasting is not available in the finite jagat. What is finite? It is not everlasting. I am looking for everlasting. And if everlasting is just not available in that which is not everlasting, that vairagyam, that viveka janita vairagyam one should have. That what I am looking for is a certain everlasting, let's call it thing for a temporary period, okay? I am looking for something everlasting. That everlasting is not available in something which is not everlasting. Viveka. What is vairagya? Having known that it is not available in the non-everlasting, I move away. I stop looking for the everlasting in the non-everlasting. That's vairagya. This bus doesn't take me where I want to go. However luxury, I will not board the bus. That is vairagya. I am not saying the non-everlasting is useless. It has got its use. It has got its variety. It can give me a comfort. It can give me a degree of comfort. But it cannot give me everlasting. And by everlasting, what am I looking for? I am looking for certain everlasting security. How can something which is not secure by itself give me everlasting security? So what do? I stop looking for security in the non-everlasting. Vairagya. So these two have been highlighted at every place. And for this to work, for this knowledge to become mine, okay, what do? This Brahmana has to go to someone who knows the secret. Rajavidya, Rajaguhya. Who knows the secret? And that person is Guru. The Guru has access to Shastra. He can unlock the Shastra and reveal the Shastra to me. And what does the Shastra say? You are not what you think you are. What have you taken yourself to be? Insignificant. No, no, no. Your conclusion is wrong. Improper analysis. The real or the truth is you are, see, let's look at it before we go to that. If something is everlasting, it must be available now. It must have been always available. It must be available in future as well. If I'm looking for becoming a whole person, the wholeness, fullness, purnatvam, everlasting, permanence. If something whole is there, WHOLE, if that whole is there, the whole must be available now. And I must be part of that whole. Minus me, there is no whole. So, if I am missing permanence, and if I accomplish permanence through a process of in time and space, it becomes finite, it will go away. So I want something everlasting. That everlasting cannot be accomplished in time and space because time and space themselves are not everlasting. Therefore, that leaves out only one other possibility. That is, I am already everlasting, but I miss it. Yeah? Somebody born a prince. Okay, not a Raja, born a prince. During childhood, because of some conspiracy, he had to be rescued from the palace and he lived elsewhere. His nurse took care of him. And then he was brought up in a tribe. Then one loyal person came back looking for him and found him. What does he do? What does he do to become the prince? Nothing at all. He is already a prince. He only has to learn how to conduct himself like a prince, wean himself away from the habits like living on trees and things like that, wean himself away from those habits and live like the prince that he always has been. What's been my problem? I have taken myself to be insignificant and I pursue significance by a process of change. So when I understand that by a process of change, I'm not going to become significant and that I'm already significant, the solution for the problem is not in becoming, but in knowing that I already am significant. In fact, I am a significant one. I am the significant one. I am the only significant one. It's a process of discovery. Having discovered that, I have to claim that and own it up and live my life in accordance to my conviction. So, so this process is called moksham. Moksha means freedom from the conclusion that I am insignificant. Freedom, moksha is freedom, not salvation. If your salvation means something is already dead and gone, what salve? If you are condemned, then what is there to say? You are already condemned. What can I say? Condemning, salvation, nothing works. Freedom. I've taken myself to be something other than what I really am. I have to know it. Freedom from the wrong conclusion is moksha. And moksha is a matter of knowledge. It takes place in the buddhi. And for it to take place and for me to assimilate and own it up, the buddhi must have jnana yogyata. So for jnana yogyata prapti, bhakti is a powerful means. Bhakti is not just one activity, it is a bouquet of activities. Karma yoga, which we covered in in the earlier sections, okay, is one means. Upasana is another means. And last is nididhyasana, jnana yoga, when the whole thing is owned up. I own up the whole thing. The knowledge becomes mine. So, that is a very important stepping stone. Karma yoga gives me a freedom from a certain self-centeredness. Bhakti yoga gives me a certain focus and also expands my vision. So, in a mind which is free from selfishness, which has got focus, and in an expanded buddhi, jnana takes place. So, upasana is making jnana, getting jnana yogyata prapti by looking at the jagat and seeing. And one of the means for jnana yogyata prapti is Ishvara upasana. All your puja is karma yoga. Upasana is mental vyapara, manasa vyapara. You see Ishvara everywhere. First you see single Ishvara, Ekarupa. From that you go to Vishwarupa. Whatever you see Ishvara there. There is nothing other than Ishvara, for which there is a prakriya of teaching. What is the prakriya of teaching? They show you a product. Okay, let me show you. This is a product. A cotton handkerchief. Where is cotton in this? There is only cotton. There is only cotton. The manifestation of cotton is that of a handkerchief, is that of an upper garment, is that of a towel, is that of a lower garment. There is a lot of linen, everything else. Cotton being the substratum, the same cotton manifests itself as products of cotton. So the karya, the cause, can never be away from the product. The karya can never be away from the product. Ishvara is Jagat Karanam. Okay? And the Jagat is Karyam. How can Karanam be away from the Karya? How can the material ever be away from the product? How can the cause be away from the effect? This is the way the teacher unfolds the nature of Jagat to you in 7 and 9. Then the teacher adds that there are two aspects to Srishti. We have done this, but never mind, repeat it as many times as necessary. There are two aspects to Srishti. Para Prakriti, Apara Prakriti. Apara Prakriti is material cause. Para Prakriti is intelligent cause. Para Prakriti is Chaitanyam. So, unless I have knowledge of Para Prakriti and Apara Prakriti, my knowledge is not complete. Okay, so the knowledge of Ishvara is being unfolded in this. It will be reinforced and driven home in the last section, Madhyama Shatkam. In this, the whole thing is being built up. Ishvara Swarupam is being given, Ishvara Jnanam is being given to you, given to all of us. So that aspect should be very, very clear to us. So he says, last week we saw up to verse number 8, I think. Yeah. Prakritim swamavashtabhya visrajam. No, we saw up to 7. Sarva bhutani kaunte. Yeah, I think we also up to 9 we saw. Yeah. Nacha mamtani karmani nibandh. Yeah, we'll have to do 8, 9, and 10. Okay. So we did up to 7 last week. Okay. Now, the Ishvara Swarupa, the Apara Prakriti, has been revealed to you as Pancha Mahabhutam, Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apaha, Prithvi. It has been revealed to you. So what you see, let's see this as Srishti, Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apa, Prithvi. This is Ishvara's Apara Prakriti. The Para Prakriti, the intelligent cause, is never away from Apara Prakriti because they are abhinna, they are non-separable in Srishti's case. Whereas in very many cases, the creator is away from the created. There are two aspects of creation, the intelligent cause and the material cause. While the material cause inheres in creation, the intelligent cause is not always available. But in Srishti, the intelligent cause is never away. And this intelligent cause is referred to as Ishvara, and Ishvara's Para Prakriti is sought to be understood. That is the goal of the next few verses. So, what are the features of Ishvara? You want to have Sakshatkar, you want to meet Ishvara. Meet him, say hello, buddy, how are you? So what are the features of Ishvara? The intelligent cause. So that here the teacher takes you through a few steps. Let's look at a few steps first, and then we'll go into the verse. Avyakta. Okay, remember, did you come across this word somewhere? Avyakta? Yes, you did. Where did you get it? Maya tatamidam sarvam jagat avyaktamurtina matsthani sarva bhutani nachaham teshvas avastitaha. So, jagat has a drishya prapancha that we can see. There is an adrishya, and that adrishya, the invisible factor, is called avyakta. Avyakta means that which is indriya agocharam, not available for sense perception. The intelligent cause cannot be seen, cannot be touched, cannot be smelt, cannot be in any which way. You cannot have a sense perception of this intelligent cause. In case there is something which you are able to touch, it is anatma. I am able to feel my emotions, anatma. I am able to feel my breath, anatma. There is heat, anatma. I occupy space. Some people occupy a lot of space, all anatma. The sakshi inside is avyakta, is not available for sense perception. That's the meaning of avyakta. Then is a sarvagataha. Sarvagata means like Ishvara is nowhere. Put a line, Ishvara is now here. So if you say Ishvara is in Vaikuntha, you are concluding that Ishvara is not here. So Ishvara here and in Vaikuntha as well. That's what you have to read. See, you will be saying, Shantakaram Bhujagasayanam Patmanabam Suresham. There he is right in front of you. Vishwadharam Gagana Sadrisham is all over the place. How can something be all over the place and almost here? Yeah, only Ishvara can. That is what is called two orders of reality can be the same. For example, clay is an order of reality. Pots are another order of reality. Wherever there is a pot, there is clay. Sarvagataha. So that's what Ishvara says. I am Sarvagataha. Aham Sarvagatam. And we missed verse 6 last year week. So I'll read the 6 again for you. How do we understand this Sarvagata? Sarvagata is everywhere. Like what? Akashavat. Like Akasha. Don't say Ishvara is Akasha. Because Akasha itself, the concept of time itself is finite. Therefore, he says, Yata Kasha Stito Nityam Vayu Sarvatra Go Mahan Tatha Sarvani Bhutani Matstanityupadharaya. Okay, so I, just as the air fills up space, okay, I support the entire Srishti by accommodating them in my space. Akasha supports, it accommodates. Okay, Matstani, okay, Matstani Upadharaya, I support the entire Srishti. Your dream, who supports? You support. Everything in your dream, you support. So I support my dream by being available as a dreamer. So I support everything in my dream. Okay, this is to be understood very, very carefully. So let's see what the teacher has to say in this. Okay. Yeah, there's an important point here. Even though Akasha supports the entire Vayu, Mahan, Sarvatraga Mahan, all over the place. But Akasha is not tainted by good smell, bad smell, foul smell. Akasha is not tainted. In Akasha, Vayu carries all this smell, but the smell does not taint Akasha. So this aspect has to be understood. Otherwise, we'll run into a small problem. Ishvara Upadharaya supports the entire Srishti by being present. He said, I support. So there are a lot of good people in your life. Yeah, lots of. There are also not so good people in your life. Yeah. There are ugly people in your life, beautiful people in your life. God will be responsible for all of them. So God put bad people in my life. God put good people in my life. My misfortune, whenever, whoever I met, God always put a bad person there. God will become a problem. So God you cannot accommodate. So you have to create a Satan there, who is equally powerful than God, and he keeps putting something, and God and Satan have to keep fighting. Get into all these problems. He says, just as Vayu can be Dushit, but Akasha cannot be Dushit. So this is the quality of Ishvara Sarvagataha. We'll come to see why differences a little later. Okay. So Sarvagataha, Ishvara is everywhere. Okay. Then what else? Ishvara does not have attributes that we have seen. Only if you have attributes, you can feel and things like that. So Ishvara Avyaktaha, Ishvara Sarvagataha, then Sarva Adharaha. It is everywhere, and Ishvara is Sarva Adhara, supports everything. Okay. And how does matter exist? Matter exists by, matter doesn't really exist. Matter appears to exist. We'll see a little more in there, a little more in. This is a little subtle. Matter appears to exist, borrowing existence from Ishvara. Very technical, yeah? Let's look at it. There is nothing independent called pot. There is no pot. Pot has a seeming existence, borrowing existence from clay. There is no necklace or earring or nose stud or bangle. Per se, there is nothing independent called ornament. The ornament borrows its existence only from gold. So this is what he says. Sarva adharaha, for all the gold ornaments anywhere in Srishti, gold is the adhara. Sarva adharaha. That has to be understood like that. Okay, then what about gold? While the product, is dependent upon the cause is independent of the product. Ishvara, the entire Srishti depends on Ishvara alone. But Ishvara is independent of the Srishti. Let's bring it even closer. Would you like to bring it closer? This body is dependent upon my Chaitanyam for its existence. But the body is independent of the Chaitanyam. It extends beyond the borders of this body. It is not a part or product of the body. It is free from all kinds of attributes. I may be fair, dark, tall, short, beautiful, not so beautiful, old, young. They are all features of the product. The karya is free from all this. This is how and who is this? Aham. Aham. So before you come to Aham, take it as Ishvara. Ishvara is free from all this, but these things are not free from Ishvara. So Ishvara is Anadhara. Anadhara means not helpless. Okay. Koi aadhar nahi hai. One without an Aadhar card. No, it's not like that. Anadhara means one who does not need Aadhar. You and I need. What's your Aadhar number? You need. Ishvara doesn't. Okay. Okay. Then very powerful point here. Very powerful point driven home. Ishvara is Nishprapancha. Nishprapancha means free from the modifications of his Srishti. Okay? Free from the modification that the Srishti undergoes. So, this is how the 6 and then thereafter have to be understood. Let's go a little further. Okay, we have seen up to 9. Let us look at, we have seen up to 8. Let us look at 9. Nacha mam tani karmani. Nacha mam tani karmani. Nibhatnanti dhananjaya. Nibhatnanti dhananjaya. Nacha mam tani karmani. Nibhatnanti dhananjaya. Udasinavadasinam. Udasinavadasinam. Asaktam teshu karmasu. Asaktam teshu karmasu. So whole verse. Nacha mam tani karmani. Nacha mam tani karmani. Nibhatnanti dhananjaya. Udasinavadasinam. Asaktam teshu karmasu. Hey Dhananjaya, hey Arjun. Understand something about my nature. Otherwise, you will paint yourself into a corner. Okay. We saw in the earlier words, Bhutagramamiham Krishnam Avasham, how it repeats itself. Prakritim Swam Avashtabhya. We'll lead from that. So, Srishti is not linear. It is cyclical. So, in cyclical, which is the beginning point? Which is the end point? That's why in this verse, chapter, in verse number 8, Sri Krishna would have used the word Vishrajami Punah Punaha, again and again, meaning it's an everlasting process. What is that everlasting process? The everlasting process is there will be Srishti, there will be unmanifest. From the unmanifest, the manifest will come. And from the manifest, it will go back to unmanifest. Srishti, Sthiti, Laya. Srishti, Sthiti is a cycle going on and on and on and on and on. So he says, Vishrijami Puna Puna, it happens. How does it happen? The Sthula, Pralaya, when the Srishti ends, or when that cycle ends, the physical body go back to the elements. They go back to the elements. The Sukshma Sharira and the Karana Sharira collapse into the total Karana Sharira. Technical, okay? The Sukshma Karana Sharira and that reflected consciousness, they collapse into the total Karana Sharira. And in the total Karana Sharira, individual Sachita Karma accounts are maintained. Okay. Imagine those days. It's one lovely example we get. Let's say the bank, all of you have bank accounts. Let's say someday the bank says we are closing down our system for maintenance. Very often you will get a message. Today we are closing down the system for maintenance. But what time? 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. 3 hours the system is closing down. Now where do all the transactions, everything go? They collapse into, they collapse into something like a cloud. It's stored there in cyberspace. And where are the individual accounts? In that space, individual accounts are also stored. Otherwise, what would happen? When they reboot the system and they start saying, your account will be with me, mine will be with you. I don't mind getting a few millions from others, but I'm definitely having a problem transferring my 10, 15 rupees to somebody else. Have you seen this? One fine morning, you get a credit into your account, 100,000 rupees. You say, wow, there is a debit, 17 rupees. You say, why 17 rupees and make the life of the bank miserable? It doesn't. So, in the same way, the whole Srishti folds back into its potential form. From the potential, it manifests or unfolds into a fresh Srishti, and this happens Puna, 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 Puna. He uses only Puna, Puna one. They have a loop, permanent loop. Okay? And Swam Avashtabhya. It happens helplessly. Okay? Avasham. Okay? Avasham. Helplessly it keeps happening. Why does it keep happening? Because, let's take a little time to understand. Okay? Why does it keep happening? It keeps happening because I have taken myself to be insignificant. My pursuit for becoming significant continues. In this Janma, perhaps I have reached basic safety needs, love needs, esteem needs, and I think, self-actualization needs. I don't even know what it is. I'm struggling somewhere there. This body falls. Now, where will the needs go? They don't disappear. They go into the potential form And when another body comes, this potential form will go there. There will be a body which will, a body will be created to suit this potential unfulfilled desires. So the jiva keeps coming and coming. It's like a giant wheel which never comes to a stop. Is there a way out? Yes, you can jump off. To know, when you come to know that you are not an insignificant being, you are the only significant being, you drop out of the race, a rat race. You know, why do they call it a rat race? I didn't know. Then I suddenly found out, because even if you win the race, you remain a rat. You don't become a cat or any other super being. You're in a rat race. But if you want to get out of the rat race, Moksha Dwara is the only place. Okay. Having driven that home, Ishvara says, I am the cause of this Srishti. I am the intelligent cause. But don't blame me that that fellow has an advantage. This fellow does not have the advantage. You see World Cup match going on. This fellow does not seem to have the range of strokes of that cricketer. This fellow does not seem to have the concentration of the other cricketer. Does not seem to have the discipline. Why? Because of individual makeup. Okay, because of individual makeup. There is a Sattva Guna, there is a Rajo Guna, there is a Tama Guna. All three come together in various proportions and make up. It is because of that. Therefore, the karma of all the bhutas do na nibadnanti. I am not bound or bogged down. If somebody has got good results in his exam, yes, Ishvara Anugraha, I am there, but Jiva Prayatana is there. Jiva Prayatana is there. Every day you go to the temple and pray, this should happen, this should happen, this should happen. If it is not matched by action, how will it happen? So the Jiva Prayatana accounts for the differences. Ishvara Anugraha is the Samanya Karana. Jiva Prayatana, Jiva Vasana is the Vishesha Karanam, is a specific reason for the differences. Therefore, it says, the Karmani na Nibhadnanti, they don't touch me. They, Dhananjaya, the karma doesn't touch me. You are a papi, I am not. We don't use the word papi at all. The outcome is yours, not mine. I've written a play and somebody is acting. In that play, he does a lot of horrible things. Okay. And at the end of the day, he'll laugh. He'll say, oh my God, how brilliantly I acted as a nasty fellow. You see? The nastiness of the role does not affect the role player. In the same way, na nibhadnanti, how am I? Asina, I am seated as though udasina, as though indifferent. As though indifferent. I'm not in meaning, it is not that I don't care. In my presence, the whole thing happens. Just because of clay, all the pots have come. Just because of gold, all the ornaments have come. Suppose there is a defect in an ornament. There is a defect in an ornament, or one pot is misshapen. It is not the clay's fault. That's all we have to understand from this verse 9. Okay? Right. Now let's look at 10. Maya dhyakshena prakritihi suyate sacharacharam. Maya dhyakshena prakritihi suyate sacharacharam. Hetunanena kaunteya jagat viparivartate. Hetunanena kaunteya jagat viparivartate. Whole verse. Maya dhyakshena prakritihi suyate sacharacharam. Hetunanena kaunteya jagat viparivartate. He kaunteya, he Arjun. Maya adhyakshena. By me alone, okay, prakritihi sa charam acharam suyate. I don't do anything. By my mere presence, by your mere presence, the dream world unfolds. You don't get up and say, can you try? You can try. I want to dream of one of the persons here, okay? Wearing a particular dress and talking to me this particular language. It doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. But yeah, all these impressions created, I may see the person wearing a different kind of a dress was talking to somebody else, talking something which doesn't relate to me at all. Okay, so in my mere presence, Maya, Prakriti, Charam, Acharam, Suyate, the Srishti happens. In my presence, Maya Shakti is empowered to bring the potential Srishti into play. By mere presence of gold, all the ornaments come to play, come into being. Into that gold, all the ornaments go back. Okay. Hetuna anena. Okay. Anena. This is the cause. Hetuna anena jagat jagat vipari vartate. And the entire rupa, name, form, everything comes out and project themselves by mere presence. Okay, I get up in the morning. The Chaitanyam by its mere presence drives my body, mind, sense complex. What I want to do, what I don't want to do, where I want to attend satsang, I don't want to attend satsang. Everything is driven purely by my internal raga dvesha pressures. But the raga dvesha themselves get the potential to function by the presence of that Chaitanyam. I am that Chaitanyam. That's how we relate. Let's go to verse number 11. We'll read verse number 11, see it in details next week. Yeah. 10. We'll just read the 11. Okay. Before actually we read the 11, I would like to try, just look at one or two points. Okay. Okay. They say Atma is akarta. So this comes directly from that. Atma is akarta. That means in my presence, Maya creates, preserves, resolves. Srishti, Sthiti, Layakar. Atma does not do anything deliberately. The cause of human samsara is ignorance of Ishvara Swarupam. Okay? And this Ishvara Swarupam, the samsara has to be understood a little more clear. What I see outside is only a padartha, only a thing. I acquire that thing, or I want to acquire that thing. The padartha remaining the same, the product remaining the same, something happens here. It becomes a vishaya, and I develop a like, not just a like, a strong like. And when I develop a strong like for something or someone, I don't want to let go. Sansara has started. What is the nature of the thing? It will go someday. Either that will go or you will go. So, this is how samsara starts. But suppose you looked at the whole thing as Ishvara. What happens? There is nothing that you own. There is nothing. You are working in a jewelry store. Okay? You don't own anything. Or like some of us here. I used to work in the bank. And vault mean all currency, note or note. I don't own anything. So what do I have? Udasina, Udasina, what? Asina. As though in the hundreds of thousands of crores and my vault just below my seat. Udasina, what? Asina. Udasina, what? Asina. So, Akarta means in whose presence the entire Srishti has come about, including this body-mind-sense complex. This body-mind-sense complex has a certain individuality. In that individuality, the individual jiva sees himself as insignificant. And this insignificant one pursues significance by acquisition and by giving. Give up what I don't like, acquire what I like. So when attachment, strong attachment develops for what I like, I resist letting go. I can't let go. I write poetical verses, but I can't let go. Samsara has been created. So ignore. Why is it that come? Because I've taken myself to be insignificant. I see that if I add on that, I will become somewhat more significant. Ignorance is the cause of the problem. What is the solution? I am not insignificant. Body is a subject, is an object of my knowledge, belongs to the ken of Ishvara, and everything is in Ishvara. Ishvara's srishti is meant for me to use, not to own. Use appropriately to ensure emotional growth. This is how it is to be related. Therefore, the teacher adds a side notes. He says, never get stuck in apara for good permanently. Because if you are going to stick to apara for permanently, you are in for trouble. Okay? So, stepping stone to spirituality, Ishvara, Eka Rupa, Saguna Eka Rupa, Ishvara Upasana is a stepping stone, a religious step to spirituality. Appreciating Vishwarupa Ishvara is growth, Vishalata, and in that slowly I move into Atma Rupa Ishvara. Ishvara and me are just one and the same, and that is moksha. This is what Krishna says. After verse number 10, we will see what Krishna has to say. The next verse. We meet next week, next Friday. Swasti prajabhya paripalayantam न्यायेन मार्गेण महिं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनीं देशोऽयं शोभरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भया सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतंगमय ओम पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ओम शांति 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 श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम। सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय हो, स्वामी दयानंद महाराज की जय हो, सब संतों की जय हो, बजरंग बली की जय हो, पवन पुत्र हनुमान की जय हो। ईश्वरानुग्रह, Guru Kripa, Shastra Kripa. We will continue the study. Om. Have a wonderful weekend. Om.